Live life so that you create good vibes. The good vibes. Live life so that you radiate good vibes. The good vibes. Live life so that you generate good vibes. The good vibes. Live life so as to emanate good vibes. The good vibes. Spread the message of your life with good vibes. With good vibes. With good vibes. Welcome to the Good Vibes Podcast. Hey my friends, and welcome to the 000 podcast of The Good Vibes. I'm your host, Tushar, and today I'll be introducing myself to you, what this podcast is about, how it started, the story behind the podcast, and what is an evolved learner. Firstly, I'm super glad and happy that you're here. I don't know what has brought you here, but whatever has brought you is really, I don't know, it's done a favor to both you and me, because we have created this podcast, we have created this community called The Good Vibes to spread positivity and hope in this world of ours, in this beautiful world of ours. So let me start off by introducing myself. I'm Tushar. I'm from India and currently living in Delhi. I'm going to be shifting to Bangalore soon to start my first year in college. 4 years in college are yet to be done, but I've been blessed to get into this field of positivity and self-development very early. It was triggered by a shift from another city called Pune to Delhi. So when I shifted from Pune to Delhi, I felt a sudden loss of friends, and I felt this need to be supported by someone or some people. I didn't have a good friend circle around me, and since I was in high school, the pressure of studies also was there. So there were a few factors which didn't really work out for me in the social perspective, and I didn't really feel supported. And I had an afterthought that, isn't this a similar story? It can't be that I'm the only one, because the whole of humanity shares these stories which we think are exclusive to us, but the whole of humanity shares such stories of adjusting again, settling again. And I thought, if I create a community to support people, and the people I support the people around them, slowly and steadily, we're going to be starting a community which actually supports and encourages the people around them. And that's what humanity needs and deserves right now. Desperately needs it, because we need more world level influencers. We need more heroes. We need people who are going to take things in their hands to change the world for the better. So this is the start of that process. I'm doing my best to tell you. This is like your reminder service to tell you, hey, you can look at things differently. You can feel positive. You can really enjoy this one chance called life that you have today onwards. You don't need to wait anymore. And that's why this podcast was created. And I'm really pumped about it, because it's been a long journey. It's been a short journey, but I've been doing this for 6 months. I've been doing this for 6 months now. It was a 3 times a week podcast, and it will remain a 3 times a week podcast. Every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, I'll be uploading podcasts. For the launch, I'm uploading a new podcast every day, and from first week onwards, it's going to be a 3 times a week podcast. So, what you can expect from this podcast are things that I have seen, felt, and experienced. Of course, I do a lot of research in this area of positivity and high performance. I don't do research papers, I don't go into real depths, but I take and put in the thought processes which work for people and try to implement it myself. And I see the results. So, if the results are really good, which they generally turn out to be, I always find that there's a new perspective which I gain by trying it out on my own. So, everything that you're going to hear is completely authentic. It's experienced firsthand by me and then put into words for you. So, I see the things around me, I experience and perceive the world in the way which gets the results of feeling good, feeling positive, and being outstanding. I put in the code, and then I let the brain process it, and then I get the output. If you look at it in terms of a computer, I put in the result, I put in the input, let my brain process it and get a result, and I tell you this process. So it's going to act like a reminder service for you, and it'll tell you to be grateful sometimes. It'll tell you to be patient some days. It may tell you to be more compassionate. And because because the base of all this are the virtues that we have, the virtues that have made humanity prosper for I don't know how many years, from the first man on earth, the virtues that have led humanity to progress and prosper. I talk about these virtues, and that's why it's so easy to understand and it's so basic, and of course, easy to follow. So, I'll be giving you strategies and tips and tools and resources to start leading a more intentional, positive, vibrant, and happy life. And you're going to be mind blown by seeing the change in you once you start implementing these things. Because I've seen the difference myself. It's just been about a year and a half of practicing such tools, and I have seen the difference, and I have felt and I feel the difference. So that's why I'm super, super passionate about sharing this message to all of you, because you can feel the difference too, and the people around you and the world in general needs you to stand up, needs you to be that courageous person who takes things in his hand. And I need you to stand up, because it's a mission which is going to be shared. It's not my mission, it's the world's mission. It's your mission too, to make this world a more peaceful, vibrant, and happy place. So it's a shared mission, and that's why this podcast is reminding you to stand up. You'll be reminding someone else to stand up, and this is going to be a chain reaction. I'm telling you, once all this energy comes together someday, I mean, we'll be I don't know where we'll be, whether we'll be alive or not, but it's going to really, really, really make the difference the world needs. So I've told you about myself and about the podcast. I've told you you'll be expecting it to be a 3 times a week podcast. And the final thing I need to tell you is, who's an evolved learner? Who's an evolved learner? So this is a term that I have come up with, and after meeting many people and after starting this podcast, I've realized that people who are willing to listen to new thoughts and ideas on how to live a better life are actually a cut apart from the rest of the population of this world. I mean, there is a really small group of people who are willing to change themselves, willing to face their fears, willing to battle against the odds and stand up for their lives. There is a really small population of them. And these are the people who are willing to lend their ear for another perspective on living a happier life. And these people, including me and you right now, are willing to implement such things and see the difference in their lives. So essentially, what you're doing is you're listening to something, you're practicing it, and you're learning from life. Now that's an evolved learner. He's evolved in the sense he's evolved to learn from life. And he's a learner. He's in the process. He's not the evolved learned. He's an evolved learner. Evolved because this learner is more evolved than the rest of the world. There is a distinguishing factor between a learner and an evolved learner, because a learner will learn from books, is an academic scholar, is going to keep things on top of his mind, is going to read up every day, is going to listen to new podcasts every day, is going to learn about our world. But the distinguishing factor is the evolved learner will do all such things and then think to himself, okay, what of what I've learned can I put into my life and test out? Even if you're into history, maybe some things in the history that you've liked or you've heard about, implementing something of that into your life and testing it out. Maybe if you're a mathematician, getting into the basics of math, of going into that state to see what are you essentially doing to practice and solve maths, and to apply those virtues and practices into your life. So that's what an evolved learner does. And that's why this community is created for people who are into evolved learning. It's a term that I have come up with, and it means a person who's willing to learn from life itself, who's willing to accept whatever happens, who's willing to accept the reality, which may include successes or failures, it may include victories, it may include losses, but whatever happens, whatever he learns, he may even learn from books and other resources, but he takes this content around and he asks himself, okay, how can I use it so I learn from life? And that is an evolved learner. He or she learns from life. And I invite you to this journey of evolved learning, which you're going to really, really enjoy, because the basic purpose of our life is to live. Whatever we may do throughout this lifespan, this one chance that we have got, what is common to all humans and all creatures on this world is we're supposed to live it. And if we learn from living it, that's the most you can do. You can't do more than that. If you learn from living, that's the biggest kind of learning you can ever get. That's why I'm super passionate about this. I welcome you again. Really, really glad to have you. And I'll meet you on the first episode. See you soon. Spread the message of your life with good vibes, with good